Imagine a day where no excuses will be accepted, no titles will matter, no followers, no wealth, no influence. A day when silence will speak louder than words, and your actions, things you forgot long ago, will return standing before you. A day when justice will not be debated because it will be perfect. That day is coming, and today we prepare for the scales of justice. The reality of accountability is something the heart often avoids, not because it is unclear, but because it is uncomfortable. Deep down, every soul knows that life is not random, that our existence is not without purpose, and that every step we take is being carefully recorded. Accountability means that nothing we say, nothing we do, and nothing we intend simply disappears. Time may erase memories, people may forget, and the world may move on, but accountability means that every action remains preserved with precision. It reminds us that we are not merely living to survive, to earn, or to enjoy, but living toward a meeting where explanations will not be needed because the record will speak for itself. On that day, accountability will be personal and unavoidable. No one will carry the burden of another, and no one will be able to borrow the righteousness of a friend or the status of a family name. A person will not be questioned about what they claimed to believe, but about how that belief shaped their choices. The prayers whispered hastily, the promises broken quietly, the moments where conscience spoke and was ignored, all of it will surface with clarity. Accountability strips away the comfort of blending into the crowd and forces the soul to stand in complete honesty, facing its own truth without filters or excuses. What makes accountability so powerful is that it is not limited to major sins or obvious acts of worship. It reaches into intentions, into thoughts that turned into decisions, and into opportunities that were either embraced or wasted. A kind word withheld out of pride, a truth hidden to protect reputation, a wrong justified because it was convenient, all of these become part of the account. The illusion that some actions are too small to matter dissolves completely because accountability does not measure size as humans do, but weight, sincerity, and impact. This reality transforms how a believer views daily life. Every interaction becomes meaningful, every choice becomes significant, and every delay in repentance becomes risky. Accountability teaches that time is not neutral. It is either building credit or accumulating debt. The awareness that one day every secret will be revealed creates a quiet discipline in the heart, a restraint when temptation appears, and a sense of responsibility even when no one else is watching. It shifts the focus from how actions look in front of people to how they will appear when nothing remains hidden, when power, wealth, and excuses lose all value, and when the soul stands alone with nothing but what it truly earned. In the journey of life, it is not always the outward appearance of our deeds that matters most, but the hidden intention that drives them. The weight of intentions is a principle that often escapes our notice because it is invisible. It cannot be measured by others, and it does not announce itself with grandeur. Yet, in the divine system of accountability, it is the intention behind every action that holds the deepest significance. A simple act performed for sincere reasons carries more weight than a grand gesture done for praise, recognition, or self-interest. It is a subtle truth, one that requires the believer to pause and reflect on the why of their actions, not just the what. Every smile, every act of charity, every moment of patience is measured not by its scale in the world, but by the purity of the heart that conceived it. Intentions are the silent architects of our deeds. Two people may perform the same action outwardly, but the difference in the outcome before the scales of justice is determined by intention. A fasting person who endures hunger for the sake of discipline and closeness to the Creator is elevated far beyond someone who fasts merely to appear righteous to others. A prayer offered with sincerity to seek nearness to God is far more beloved than a prayer performed for show. The unseen realm of the heart is where true value is determined, and the intention is the lens through which actions are weighed. This understanding changes the believer's approach to life entirely, for it is not enough to act rightly if the motive is flawed, and it is never too small to act sincerely if the heart is pure. What makes the weight of intentions profound is its universality. It applies to every sphere of life, from the most sacred acts of worship to the smallest gestures of daily conduct. Helping someone in need quietly, forgiving in secret, restraining anger when provoked, and speaking truth when it is difficult, these actions derive their true merit from intention. The worldly outcome may not reflect the sincerity behind the act. No one may notice, no reward may be apparent, yet before the ultimate judge, the intention itself carries immense significance. It teaches that the heart is the primary battlefield, and what is planted there will determine the harvest on the day of reckoning. The weight of intentions encourages mindfulness and self-examination. It calls for sincerity in every moment, honesty in every choice, and humility in every achievement. It is a reminder that outward deeds, no matter how grand, are hollow if the heart is occupied with pride, vanity, or desire for worldly gain. It urges the believer to align inner motives with divine guidance, for it is the invisible sincerity that gives visible actions their enduring value. By cultivating pure intentions, one prepares not only for external acts of righteousness, but for the unseen reward that awaits in a realm where only what is truly sincere will be recognized. Often, we are tempted to think that only grand gestures and monumental acts can earn the attention of the most merciful, that only great sacrifices or public displays of devotion carry weight in the balance of accountability. Yet, the reality is far from this. Small deeds, performed with sincerity and consistency, carry a weight that can astonish the soul when measured on the day of judgment. A kind word spoken softly, a smile given freely, a moment of patience shown quietly in the face of provocation. These seemingly insignificant actions are never wasted. Their reward is not diminished by their size, rather, it is multiplied by the intention behind them and the hidden sincerity that accompanies them. In the economy of divine justice, even the smallest acts can tip the scales when performed with love for the Creator. The beauty of small deeds lies in their accessibility. Not everyone is able to give vast sums of wealth, perform long journeys of worship, or dedicate hours in public service, yet every believer has the capacity to engage in simple acts of goodness. Saying a word of comfort to the distressed, helping someone carry their burden, or even removing a harmful object from the path of others are deeds that may go unnoticed in the eyes of people but are recorded meticulously and rewarded infinitely. The universe may overlook them, society may disregard them, yet the one who measures hearts and actions does not. This is a profound mercy, for it ensures that the humble, the overlooked, and the quietly righteous are not deprived of reward simply because their actions lacked grandeur. Consistency in small deeds is another key aspect that multiplies their effect. A single act may seem insignificant, but when repeated, it becomes a river that nourishes the soul and benefits others. Smiling daily at those you meet, greeting them kindly, being honest in minor transactions, or remembering God frequently in short supplications, these continuous small acts accumulate weight over time, building a legacy of righteousness that is invisible in the world but monumental in the hereafter. They shape character, cultivate mindfulness, and remind the believer that no effort done for the sake of Allah is ever wasted. Moreover, small deeds often carry lessons and blessings that extend beyond their immediate impact. A word of encouragement may inspire confidence, a gesture of generosity may spark gratitude, and an act of patience may teach others the value of endurance. Their effects ripple silently, affecting lives in ways we may never see, yet their reward is guaranteed by the one who sees all things. Thus, the believer learns not to despise the humble act, not to underestimate the minor effort, and not to delay action, for in the divine scale, these small deeds often outweigh what appears larger in the eyes of the world, human justice, as we know it, is often flawed. Courts are established, laws are written, and judgments are passed, yet despite all our systems and efforts, errors persist. People may be wronged, evidence may be lost or misinterpreted, and biases, conscious or unconscious, affect decisions. Sometimes the powerful escape consequences, while the innocent suffer. Human justice relies on perception, limited knowledge, and circumstances that can be manipulated or misunderstood. It is subject to emotion, pressure, and human fallibility. While we strive for fairness, we accept imperfection, because in this world, absolute justice is difficult, if not impossible, to achieve. The justice of Allah, however, is entirely different. It is perfect, complete, and beyond error. Nothing escapes it, and nothing is overlooked. Every act, every word, every intention, and even every hidden thought is taken into account with precision and fairness. Unlike human justice, which can be influenced by wealth, status, or connections, divine justice is impartial. It does not favor one group over another, it does not overlook small injustices, and it does not misjudge based on appearances. Allah's justice is accompanied by mercy, but it never compromises fairness. It sees the full context of every action, weighs intentions, and evaluates consequences in ways no human tribunal ever can. This contrast should humble the believer deeply. In human courts, we might feel relief or despair depending on the outcome of a case, yet even the most just human judgment is limited. A wrongful conviction, a misinterpreted contract, or an unnoticed act of charity may remain hidden from the world, but nothing escapes Allah's knowledge. Even actions that seemed inconsequential or deeds done in secret are fully accounted for. At the same time, human justice often judges superficially, focusing on outward actions or evidence without understanding the hearts and intentions involved. Allah's justice penetrates this unseen dimension, ensuring that every act is evaluated in its true measure. Understanding this difference transforms the believer's approach to life. It removes the temptation to despair when wrongs occur, because ultimate justice is inevitable. It discourages arrogance when one is favored by worldly courts or circumstances, because divine evaluation is far more comprehensive. It reminds us that accountability is not confined to public scrutiny, but extends into every private moment and hidden thought, and it encourages patience, mercy, and sincerity, knowing that true justice will one day prevail in a way that no human system can replicate, and every action, small or great, will be measured fairly and perfectly. One of the most humbling realities for every human being is that nothing remains truly hidden from the all-knowing. In this life, we often act under the illusion that what is concealed from people can remain concealed forever. We may perform actions in secret, some out of necessity, others out of shame, or even with the hope that no one will notice, but every secret, every hidden intention, and every concealed deed is recorded meticulously. The one who created us, who placed our hearts in our chests and our eyes in our sockets, knows what lies beneath every thought, every intention, and every action. Hidden deeds, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, are not forgotten. They are preserved until the appointed time, when all concealment will vanish and the truth will shine unmistakably. This reality should instill a deep awareness in the heart. Many of us may think that good deeds only count when witnessed, praised, or recognized by others. We may give in to laziness in private worship, delay acts of kindness when no one is watching, or allow impatience and anger to dominate our private moments. But every hidden act, whether noble or blameworthy, will be exposed in the hereafter. A whispered prayer, a quietly paid charity, a smile given secretly, a fast endured without recognition, these hidden acts will return to the believer in ways that may exceed expectation, with rewards unimaginable to the human mind. Likewise, every wrong, every hidden insult, every deceit, or every act of injustice that was committed in the privacy of one's own heart, or away from the eyes of the world, will also be revealed. The scales of accountability do not overlook what humans cannot see. They measure every action with perfect precision. The knowledge that hidden deeds will be exposed also reshapes the way a believer lives daily. It encourages honesty even when deception is easy, restraint even when no one is observing, and integrity even when shortcuts appear tempting. It reminds us that the moral compass must function not according to public opinion or convenience, but according to divine awareness. This consciousness brings humility because it shows that no one can truly hide from the all-knowing. It also brings hope because it ensures that every act of quiet goodness, every struggle, every sacrifice, every moment of patience endured away from the eyes of others will not only be seen but rewarded fully. Understanding this principle fosters a life of mindfulness and sincerity. It teaches the believer that outward appearances are not the measure of righteousness, and public recognition is not the measure of reward. The scales of justice account for what is hidden, and every thought, action, and intention, no matter how private, will be displayed with complete clarity. Even what was dismissed as too small, too secret, or too unnoticed in this world will emerge on that day, revealing the full truth of a person's life. The moment we realize that the scales of justice await us, we must also realize that preparation is not something that can be delayed. Every second of life is an opportunity to shape what will be weighed on that day, and every choice we make contributes to either the lightness or the heaviness of our account. Preparation begins not with grand gestures or extraordinary acts, but with the consistent, mindful cultivation of our character, intentions, and deeds. It begins with turning inward, reflecting on our priorities, and asking ourselves whether our actions are aligned with the purpose for which we were created. To prepare is to take responsibility for the time, energy, and resources we are given, knowing that they are temporary trusts that will one day be questioned. Preparation is both practical and spiritual. On the practical level, it means fulfilling obligations, seeking forgiveness for past mistakes, and returning what belongs to others. On the spiritual level, it involves nurturing sincerity, humility, and mindfulness in every act. It is not enough to perform visible acts of worship. The heart must be engaged, the intention must be pure, and the actions must be consistent. Preparation begins with the small, everyday choices. The decision to speak kindly, to forgive, to give quietly, and to resist temptation. Each of these choices may seem insignificant in the moment, yet they accumulate over time, forming a weight of righteousness that will benefit the soul when it is measured. The urgency of preparation lies in the uncertainty of life. None of us knows how much time remains, how many opportunities will be granted, or when circumstances may change. This uncertainty calls for immediate action. To delay preparation is to gamble with something infinitely precious. It is to assume that tomorrow will be available, when in reality every day is borrowed, and every moment is a chance to strengthen one's standing. Preparation requires self-discipline, reflection, and a conscious effort to align actions with divine guidance, understanding that no outward appearance or worldly success can substitute for genuine readiness. True preparation also involves awareness of accountability in all aspects of life. It is reflected in honesty, integrity, and fairness, not only in what is visible, but in what is concealed. It is seen in patience during trials, gratitude in moments of ease, and humility in times of prosperity. It recognizes that deeds done in private may carry great reward, and that the smallest sincere action may weigh heavily on the scales. Preparation begins with the recognition that every breath, every thought, and every action matters, and that the life we live today is directly shaping the reality we will face when the scales of justice are finally raised. My dear brothers and sisters, as we reflect on the reality of the scales of justice, we are reminded of the profound truths that define our journey in this life. Accountability is inevitable, and no action, hidden or apparent, escapes the divine record. Our intentions carry weight beyond what the eyes can see, and even the smallest acts of goodness can tip the scales in our favor. While human systems of justice are flawed and incomplete, the justice of Allah is perfect, impartial, and accompanied by mercy. Every secret, every hidden deed, every moment of sincerity will be revealed, and the time to prepare for this ultimate reckoning is not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Let us therefore embrace mindfulness in every word we speak, every action we perform, and every thought we nurture. Let us strive to align our intentions with sincerity, to act with compassion even when unnoticed, and to seek forgiveness and mercy before it is demanded. Life is fleeting, and every choice shapes the weight of our deeds on the scales of justice. By living with awareness, humility, and devotion, we can ensure that when the day comes, we stand with hearts unburdened, deeds accepted, and souls illuminated by divine mercy. May we seize this moment to prepare sincerely, to act justly, and to live in constant remembrance of the one who sees all things. May our good deeds, no matter how small, be accepted, and may our intentions be purified. And may we never forget that the ultimate justice is coming, and the reward of the hereafter is reserved for those who prepare with sincerity, patience, and faith.